Hi everyone, here to talk to you about Evolution Energy Minerals, who has bought the development-ready Chilalo Graphite Project 6 months ago. It is a development-ready project in Tanzania. It's got a DFS, mining licence, environmental approvals, and what sets our graphite apart is the flake size, 58% coarser than 80 mesh. Flake size basically drives higher prices, so no matter what price deck you assume, we'll always be one of the highest margin developers or producers. Excellent economics, which we'll touch on. The graphite market's going through a once-in-a-generation demand opportunity. I've spent almost 250 days in China meeting the different end users, understanding the applications, and can give you some insight into that today. I promise I don't have COVID, I did test this morning. We've recently just signed our first offtake agreement, cornerstone offtake agreement with a group that I've been dealing with since 2015, so very excited about that. I'll talk about our sustainable anode strategy, which is differentiated to the pack in terms of not using hydrofluoric acid but using thermal purification. We're looking to become the world's first net zero carbon graphite mine, and I'll touch on how we'll achieve that. We're very close to finalising our framework agreement with the Tanzanian government that will give us the fiscal stability and certainty to be able to make a significant investment. And we also, as part of the IPO, introduced a group called the Arch Sustainable Resources Fund, an ESG-focused fund as our cornerstone investor, and they've got roughly $20 million to deploy towards the company and project moving forward. Our board is heavily, graphite experienced, and I mentioned my time in China and understanding of the markets. We brought a guy called Michael Bourguignon into the team who was involved with the development of the Balama project in Mozambique for Syrah Resources, and so the commercial and market side is where I come in, and Michael's got the technical and development expertise to be able to take this company from where it is to successfully develop this project. 56% of our register is currently on escrow. You've got Arch at 25% and Marvel at 31%, so it's an incredibly tight register. This is what we're all about this year, executing and optimising our DFS and the key milestones as you see there. We've already signed our main binding offtake agreement on the coarse flake. The fines will be coming in the next month or two. Our framework agreement with the Tanzanian government we're expecting to sign towards the end of June or early July. We're optimising our DFS and appointing a group to undertake the front-end engineering design, and that's going to be complete by the end of September. We've just appointed a group called Auramet International to undertake the project financing for us, and met a lot of banks in South Africa a few weeks ago, and so that's moving ahead well, all ahead of an FID towards the end of the year. I'll also talk about our diversified downstream strategies that we're running in parallel, but excellent growth opportunities for the company. Just on the DFS, it was a Q1 2020 DFS, and we say done to a bankable standard. We're doing it for a US private equity fund at the time. The technical work behind it, done our full variability met test work at 2 different laboratories, and the economics are, as you see here, $323 million NPV on a capex of 87 US. We're expecting that, given the inflationary environment we've been in over the last 2 years, that's probably going to be closer to 100 million once we've updated the feed. We're optimising the study. We're not changing the scope or anything like that. We're just looking at opportunities to improve it, revising the mining schedule and going out for new budget pricing, which is expected to enhance the economics. We've changed our diesel-powered solution to a hybrid solar and diesel solution, which drops our carbon footprint as well as reduces our operating costs. And we're also looking to put in place dry stacking of tailings to reduce that ESG risk as well. Tanzania, I've been working in Tanzania for 10 years. Obviously it's gone through its challenges since 2017, and respectfully trying to work with the government through that time. But what's been amazing is the turnaround over the last year and a bit with the incoming president, who's educated overseas, understands the need of certainty for foreign investment, and has been going about that in a really good way. And from a mining point of view, what we've seen from that is a group, the BHP investing in country, but also a number of developers getting the framework agreements that they need to be able to underpin project financing. So Tanzania is definitely back, and this is a good slide to talk about again. Just on the graphite market, everyone's seen these big charts of increases, and and these sorts of things. The one on the right there is the graphite demand in batteries, almost a 5-fold increase over the next 10 years. So clearly a lot of graphite's going to be required. What a lot of people don't understand is the supply side of graphite. So why do all these countries list graphite as a strategic critical mineral? And obviously we know it's a requirement in the decarbonisation objectives, but 80% of the raw material supply coming from China, 100% of the purification and spheronisation currently being done in China, and 90% of expandable and expanded graphite done in China. So clearly the world needs to wean themselves off the Chinese supply. The critical offtake agreement that I spoke about, a company called Yicheng Xincheng Graphite Co. It doesn't entirely roll off the tongue, but their customers, Samsung, Apple, and these sorts of guys really are a tier one sort of customer base for them, and what they need to be able to produce the graphite foil for those customers is high quality coarse flake graphite that we're going to supply. So on the right hand side, the darker blue is what we're looking to provide to them. We've got roughly 60,000 tonnes per annum of production in the first 3 years. So this is a 3-year agreement. Makes up 56% of our overall production, but almost 70% or over 70% of our revenue, and that's because it's the coarser flake fractions. And you can see there on the right, the fines remains uncontracted. We're looking to finalise an offtake agreement with a known Western trader on that quite shortly. It says binding offtake agreement to be announced. It has been announced. 3-year, 30,000 tonne per annum. We're also looking to go downstream with these guys. So. And that's unique for us, so a coarse flake downstream strategy to produce expandable graphite and graphite foil in Europe with their technology, so we're advancing that as well. Just on the battery anode side, we're working through a differentiated set of test work here with a group in the US that are already commercially producing anode materials for Tesla. And the reason that's important is we know their technology works commercially. Now what they do differently is they use thermal purification rather than hydrofluoric acid. So it's much cleaner, no toxic hydrofluoric acid. Once we complete that program in September, then we'll be able to talk about an end-to-end anode strategy of taking net zero carbon graphite from Tanzania into a renewably powered and thermally purified anode material, which in our opinion can be the most sustainable anode material on the planet. Just from an ESG point of view, won't sort of go into too much detail here. We've signed up to a group called Digby to come in and be an independent auditor, or basically look at our ESG credentials and report on them independently. We are looking to be net zero carbon, and that's a combination of mitigating strategies I spoke about, introducing solar power, as well as terrestrial forestry plantations and things to be able to secure carbon offsets and those sorts of things. So we will be looking to make the net zero declaration at some stage. One other thing as well is our board and management will stand for re-election and also cancel any performance-based remuneration if we have a material breach of our ESG policies. So that's how seriously we view this stuff. So just summarising, the project is development ready, and it's a high margin graphite project driven by the flake size. Our ESG commitments are not only important to be able to drive interest from financiers, but also from our customers, and particularly in Europe as they're moving to impose maximum carbon footprint thresholds for the battery supply chain there. Arch, the cornerstone investor, it's great to have someone there with additional capital to deploy, which will really de-risk the equity raise for construction later in the year. The offtake partner, anyone who's got coarse flake graphite would love to be selling to YXGC. Your graphite needs to qualify though, and that's the extensive qualifications we've done since 2015 with those guys, and also inclusive of going downstream with them, which is unique to us. And the battery anode program, the valuations are very big for anyone that's getting involved in that, and the fact we're doing non-HF thermal purification is a real differentiator. So thank you everybody for your time.